and welcome back to another one of my thrilling videos. It's great to be back. Just before I start, is this thing working? Something from 2008. I'm pretty sure it's working. Everything seems to be working, so I think we can get on with it. So today, as you've probably already figured out, we're going to be having a little bit of a close-up look at the Sony DCR-SR36E. And as per usual, I have my trusted notes here because, you know, I think the videos are better when I have them. And also, you know that you're going to get the detail that you want. So, without further ado, let's just crack straight on and get into it. So, the Sony DCR-SR36E, which launched to market around February of 2008. And that's important, and I will come back to that shortly. It was a hybrid Handicam, which gave the consumer the option to record on either the internal hard disk drive or onto a Sony Memory Stick Pro Duo. Yes, that is a mouthful. Now it's worth pointing out, especially to some of the younger viewers, that the HDD on the side of the camera does not refer to high definition, but rather hard disk drive. So be careful. So its video compression format is MPEG-2 on this camera and allows you to capture standard definition video up to 720 by 576, or if you prefer 576i or 576i. That means the video is interlaced and it has a frame rate of 25 frames per second. So, other notable things about this camera are the 40GB hard disk drive can allow for 9 hours of high quality recording, 14.5 hours of up to standard definition recording, and up to 27 hours of low quality recording. I mean, don't take that quite literally, but it's basically, if you remember, and if you don't remember, when there used to be VHSs, we used to have standard play and long play, and if you put it on standard play the quality was better, and if you put it on long play the quality was, I suppose, worse. So it's just the same kind of principle, but on this you have a high quality, standard quality and a low quality. Obviously the lower you go down the more you can record. Other notable things, the ability to take photos, you have a Nightshot Plus mode, you have the compact form factor of this camera, you have a 40 times optical zoom, which is okay. And also, obviously, as it's a hybrid camera, memory cards give you even more recording time. So that is, you know, a lot of, I suppose, good notable points about the camera. Now, one big negative for me is that there is no external mic input. So I'm having to solely rely on the internal microphone built into this camera, which is, you know, not bad, but some of the older cameras do have mic inputs, so it's slightly disappointing that this doesn't have it. Now, when this camera was launched, it also launched alongside another Sony hybrid camera, albeit a DVD model, namely the Sony DCR DVD-110E. Now, if you're a subscriber to this channel, you should recognise that model name because I reviewed that camera at the start of the year. And they are very similar with regard to the menus and the overall layout. So due to how similar the cameras are, this review for this camera right here isn't as long as that one. So I can wholeheartedly recommend that review to anyone that might want more detail about these types of cameras. So just click here, I think it is, it's probably going to appear over the other side, or follow the link in the description. Also, you might be interested to know that Sony started its HDD range of cameras in 2006, and from what I've been able to garner, they continue to release cameras with an internal hard drive up until 2011. If you know different, let me know. What I found interesting was the fact that Sony were releasing both DVD and HDD cameras during the same period, and I quite like the fact that they were kind of offering consumers kind of different options for their needs. You know, some people may have wanted to record on physical DVD for a specific job or whatever, and some people may have preferred the convenience of the HDD. Obviously they both have benefits. Some people may like the form factor of the DVD, Other people may like the protection that the HDD brings with it, but you know, if it corrupts, what do you do? So I suppose you had to figure out which one was for you. Anyway, I'm going on now. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look at the camera, and then what we're going to do after that is I'm just going to showcase some of the menus in the camera, some of the stuff that I thought was quite interesting, and then after that I'm going to show you a comparison between images recorded on the HDD drive and images recorded on the memory card. It's a split screen. Sometimes you can't see it's a split screen because I've done such fantastic work, but rest assured that it is, just to kind of show you a side-by-side of what each medium is capturing. There's going to be a couple of still photographs as well to make that comparison, and then I'll kind of sum up at the end. So let's have a look at the camera. Okay, so as promised, let's just take a closer look at the camera. And I think really one of the things that strikes me is that this camera is quite straightforward. There isn't a load of bells and whistles to talk about. And that may be because it is a hard disk drive camera. And they were kind of going for, I suppose, a more minimal look. So if we just take a look at the front of the camera, right, well, right here, just underneath the Sony sign, that is your infrared, I don't know if you can see that well with the shadows, that is your infrared area here where the light will beam out, or not the light, but the infrared ray, whatever it is. I'm not a scientist, you tell me what it is. That is the area for the infrared, so it's quite large. So I'm surprised that the area which it covers isn't larger, which you'll see later in the video, but that's it there. On the front here, we have our lens. Now, if we just take this under, have a look under here, you can see that there it says lens cover, open and close, and I do like that. So we just pull that open, and there you go. Open up, nice clean lens on it, which is what we always like. If you want to see the detail on that camera there, you can see it there. So let's go to the side of the camera. So here it tells us all about what is going on. Sony 40GB HDD hybrid camera, and obviously a hybrid camera meaning it can record both onto the hard disk drive and the memory card. Now, talking about the memory card is located on the top of the camera right here in a nice little pull down flap area. Is that a flap? What would I call that? I don't know. It's a nice smooth mechanism, and the memory card is just in here, and as you can see, that is a Memory Stick Pro Duo. Let's call this a gate, actually. That's better than flap, isn't it? Let's close the gate. Excellent stuff. Nice and compact though, I really like that. And then here is your internal microphone, so your left and right inputs there. So let's open out the fold-out LCD screen. Just going to turn the camera on in a moment. So as you can see here, it allows you to control the screen to... Typical, somebody rings me. So let's open this LCD screen. So as you can see here, it's a reasonable size. It's not the biggest. We will turn it on in a second. You can see that there's some small controls on the side here. So home button, your wide and telephoto lens controls, which is also always useful, should I say, in case the actual button fails, and then a record button right there. So let's just have a look on the inside here. So you can see that it shoots in Dolby Digital Stereo Creator, which is nice. And then we've got a few buttons here. So we have your backlight compensation, your display and battery info. This little icon here with a little arrow pointing towards a circle is basically saying that you can burn your video to DVD. And back in the day, you would connect your camera to your laptop, or I suppose your computer of choice, and then if you was able to burn a DVD, you could burn your content to DVD. Also, did you know that Sony did release standalone DVD burners? I'll pop a picture of that right now. I never knew they were a thing. I never had one, but I'm kind of tempted to get one, even though I won't use it. No, I won't get one. So right here we have easy mode. I've never really understood easy mode, because to me, turning on the camera and just pressing record is easy mode. But this makes it even easier. I'll show you that in a minute. And then here we have like your review your footage button down there. So what we do is I'm just going to turn this on, and as I do so, I'll show you this. So in order to turn the camera on, it's just a little dial on the back. It's quite self-explanatory. You turn it on, you turn it right to turn the camera on. And as you can hear, it boots up. So the camera is now on. And if I just push that dial down the same direction again, it will change it from film mode, which is there, into camera mode. And as you can see there, we just changed modes there. So we're going to go back to video mode. And there you have it. Now, I was telling you about the easy on, or the easy button as it were. So I'm just going to zoom in here just to show you what it does. So when we press the easy button on the bottom of this camera, easy Handicam operation on, and it makes kind of all the font much bigger. Press it again. Turns it off. No idea why that's a thing. Just going to shut that now. So on the back here, other than knowing what mode we're in, we do have a button. I don't think you can see that. I'm going to have to move the camera up ever so slightly. We have a quick on button. So if the camera goes into standby, you can just press that button and it will wake the camera up. If we want to turn the camera off, we just turn the dial back that way. Now on the top of the camera right here, we have your Nightshot Plus mode. So if we want to just turn Nightshot on, it's a case of just sliding that across, sliding that back. You've got your telephoto and your wide angle controls right there. You have your photo button right on the top there. Oh, shouldn't forget these. Battery on the back. If you are interested, I'm going to turn the camera off. The battery for this camera is a Sony MP FH40. Pop that back on. We have your DC in right here. It's a little flap, no, gate, Adrian, right there, so you can plug it in to charge it up. Now, on the side of the camera, you have a little gate. This is more like a gate, isn't it? Whatever it is. So you see your AV or your USB connections here. So for your AV cord, you pop it in the top one there, and then the one below is your standard USB connection. And unfortunately, there is no mic input, as I say, which is quite disappointing. Just telling you on the side that it has up to 2,000 times digital zoom, which I wouldn't recommend using. And yeah, and that is it. That is the Sony DCR-SR36 in a nutshell. There really isn't any more to tell. So it's a nice little compact camera, nice little form factor. Let me know what you think. So as promised, we're going to have a little look at some of the menus in this camera. I can show you some of the internal menus, but not all of them, because once I select certain menus, the ability to show them externally on, say, recording equipment disappears. Don't really know why that is, but you know, we will do what we can do. So let's jump into the menu. So our first menu is a camera menu. Now, at the top right-hand corner, you have a little question mark, and if we tap that, it can select anything on the screen and tell us more about it. So here we have movie mode or photo mode. Movie records a movie. Photo, well, that's quite obvious, isn't it? And obviously you can toggle that question mark on and off anytime you want, but for the purposes of this video we're going to leave it on. So we're going to move along the panels on the bottom now, and we're going to move along onto view images. So first and foremost we have the visual index. If we have a little look at that, it displays an index of the recorded contents for you to touch the images that you want to see. Next up we have index, displays an index of frames taken from a movie at a set interval. Touching a frame plays a movie from that scene. Next up is face index, so displays a list of faces detected during a movie recording from which you can select the scene you want to play. And lastly on this panel is playlist, plays back movies in the playlist. So we're going to move on to the next panel entitled others. Okay, so our first panel is delete, which I think is quite straightforward. So we're going to move on to photo capture, so saves a selected frame from a recorded movie as a still image. Next up we have movie dubs recorded movies. And then we have photo copy, copies recorded still images. Okay, so we're going to select the down arrow key and now onto edit, edits a recorded image. And next up we have playlist edit, edits the movies in the playlist. Next we have print, prints a still image from the camcorder. And last but not least, USB connect. Connects the camcorder to a computer. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this camera's menu is incredibly similar to the Sony DCR DVD-110E. Now, as this camera is an HDD camera, settings specific to this camera are photo capture, movie dub, and photocopy when you are in others settings. And I think the reason for that is because these cameras were launched in 2008. Both the DVD camera and the HDD camera came out in 2008, and they were clearly just using the same menus for the cameras, other than that one was slightly different to the other, and they accommodated that. So we'll move on now to manage media. So first up is movie media set. Selects the media for recording and playing images. So in this case it would be a choice between a hard drive and a memory card. Next up we have photo media set. Selects the media for recording and playing images. Next up, media info. Displays the status of the media selected in the movie media set and the remaining recording time. Next up we have media format. So that's quite straightforward. Function to format the media. So we're going to select down on the arrow on the left hand side and we get repair image DBF. Checks and updates the image database file. Now with this being an HDD camera, if you had a DVD camera, there's a slight difference, and that is simply within the manage media you can unfinalize your DVD, finalize your DVD, or you can choose something called a disk select guide. Okay, so onto the final menu now, settings. Okay, so first up is movie settings. So if we go into that, sets the record mode, steady shot and other movie related functions. Now this was one of the menus that I couldn't show you further into. I'll just briefly talk about the movie settings so you've got a rough idea what you get. Once you've selected it, you get your options of a recording mode, which is HQ, SP and LP for your high quality to your lower quality. The Nightshot light mode, the wide select either 16:9 by 4:3, a digital zoom selection either 80 or 2000 times digital zoom, steady shot, auto slow shutter, a guide frame which some might find useful, remaining set and index set. Next up we have photo settings for making still picture settings. Next up we have view images set for setting data code and other playback related settings. Next up we have sound and display settings, selects a beep sound, LCD brightness level and other screen settings. Okay, we're going to press down on the arrow on the left hand side and now we're on to output settings, selects the TV type and other output related settings. Next up we've got clock and language, makes the clock and language related settings, and lastly general set, makes other general settings. I can't find anything in the manual about what general set actually does, but I assume it just allows you to make additional settings. So those are all the main settings on the camera, and what we're going to do now, I'm going to press the X at the top left to take us back out to the review screen, and I'm just going to very briefly talk about what you can do on that review screen. So here we are back on what I would consider to be the main review screen, where you've got tiles of the footage that you've shot, or you can select the camera icon to review your photographs. So let me just tap on one of these tiles on the screen and this is what will happen. So all very self-explanatory. If I go ahead and hit that camera button, you'll see that there's nothing there because at this stage I haven't taken any pictures, but please rest assured I will take some pictures with this camera and share them at the end of this video. I'm now going to select the little film index icon at the top of the camera, and this will show you the indexes of the videos that you have shot. And you can also access the face index by selecting it, but obviously there is no face index information because I haven't set that up. Oh, and I just wanted to add, for any of you that were interested in what kind of effects this camera has, well, it offers you two faders, black and a white fader. Very, very exciting. And then we can move on to digital effects. I wonder what it might have. Well, this camera only has one digital effect, and that is old movie. And as you can see, Mario is enthralled to have the old movie digital effect. Other than that, the only other effects you have are picture effects. So we're just going to go into that now. The first effect you have is, well, believe it or not, sepia, which looks exactly the same as old movie. So again, Mario is thrilled to go back into pretty much the same colour tone than he was in earlier. Then we have another classic, black and white. Wow, fantastic. I wonder what else they might offer us. Hopefully not pastel. Hopefully not, because nobody likes pastel. No, it's pastel. And as you can see, Mario is very disappointed in pastel. And they are the only digital effects that you have on this camera. So if you're looking for something more exciting or something more retro, then this definitely isn't the camera for you. So I hope you found that quick settings tour useful. Now I'm going to share some images and videos shot on the camera. Okay, so just a quick night shot test. Interestingly, there are two functions on this camera. Now, at the moment, I've turned off a setting which enables the IR light to come on when I turn the Nightshot Plus on. So I'm going to do that now. So now I've got Nightshot Plus recording, and as you can see, well, on anyway, as opposed to recording, can't see anything. So whilst recording, I'm going to go into the menu and I'm going to go to Night Shot Light and I'm going to turn it on. And there you go. You can see now that you need that IR light on. I don't really know why that's there. I thought it was like it would improve the night shot, where in actual fact you're just disabling it. You can see right now, there's my hand, there's the plant there. It's probably no more than about 1.5 feet away from me. And then if we go over here, you can see it's quite hard to make stuff out, but obviously there's no light, so we're going to do is move the tripod and we're going to turn it up, look up here where there is some light over here. So the autofocus is quite good, but obviously this is a kind of night shot where you do need to have some light. Having no light at all is not great. So the IR does its best when it's close up to stuff. If we kind of get close up to something, that's quite good. And we're just going to move over here to a different part of the garden. And as you can see, there's obviously a small beam coming out from the camera. A night shot's actually here where my hand is. That's where the night shot is. Take it off, I'll focus up. So it's okay, but only when you're very close to said objects. Probably the other way you'd get around it is having an additional light to put on top of your camera. But in quite dark conditions, does an okay job. Okay, so good morning. So you join me over Lound Lakes in Suffolk, in Lowestoft in Suffolk actually, and I just thought I'd bring the drone over here to showcase, actually, that's probably what I should have said, to showcase, well, you probably know what it is anyway, but the Sony DCR-SR36. So really, I thought that I'm just going to pop this camera onto the tripod, show you a little bit of this area of natural beauty that is Lound Lakes, and then hopefully you can kind of make your mind up as to whether or not, you know, this is a camera that is worth having. So I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll see you later. Thank you. Okay, so what did you make of the review? Are you tempted to buy the Sony DCR-SR36E? That is a mouthful. Did I say that right? I did say it right, yeah. Are you tempted? Are you interested in getting one just for those kind of nostalgic feelings? You know, let me know below. And as always, thank you ever so much for all the continued support. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. Do it now. And if you want to give it a like that, I mean, I think my thumbs are bigger than the YouTube thumbs, but if you want to give it a like, that is also great. But the channel continues to grow. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I am now signing off. I'll see you all later. Cheers. What was that?